All right, let's dive in. Today, we're taking a look at the wild new world of academic research, where AI is changing, well, pretty much everything. We're going to put two of the biggest names in this space head-to-head, Consensus and Undermind.ai, and really figure out which one might be right for you.
Look, if you've ever had to write a research paper, you know this feeling. It's like you're staring at an endless ocean of articles, papers, and studies. It's classic information overload, and frankly, it's only getting worse. How in the world are you supposed to find what you actually need in all that noise?
So, to sort through all that, here's what we've got on tap. First, we'll talk about how AI is even showing up in the library. Then we'll take a really close look at a tool called Consensus before we throw it into a showdown with a major competitor, Undermind.ai. We'll compare them directly and then wrap things up by helping you figure out which AI assistant you should probably be using.
You know, for the longest time, doing research just meant typing keywords into a database and then scrolling and scrolling. But now, a whole new kind of tool is showing up, and these tools promise to be less like a clunky search engine and more like a smart research compass, pointing you right to the answers.
And this, right here, is the real game changer. The idea is you can just ask a question, in plain English, and instead of a giant list of links, you get an actual answer. An answer that's been synthesized by an AI from tons of papers. And, this is key, it comes with all the citations. It's a pretty revolutionary idea, and it's exactly what tools like Consensus and Undermind.ai are built on.
So, let's kick things off with Consensus. It's definitely one of the most well-known tools out there right now. People love its clean look and feel, which makes it a really popular starting point for students and researchers. But what's really going on under the hood?
Okay, so its big claim to fame, the feature that gives the tool its name, is the consensus meter. The whole point is to give you a super quick visual snapshot of what the research is saying about your question. It does this by sorting papers into these really simple buckets: yes, no, mixed, or possibly.
And when you see it in action, you can see why people like it so much. It looks so simple and powerful. You ask your question and bam, you get this really intuitive donut chart. In this case, it's shouting a pretty overwhelming yes. And you can't help but feel like you've just saved yourself days of reading.
And honestly, that's probably the best way to think about it. The consensus meter isn't some formal scientific analysis. It's more like a way to quickly read the room, to get a vibe for what the conversation is like in the academic literature. It's a starting point, a quick check. But, and this is a big but, that's also where the problems start.
Right, here's the catch. The consensus meter uses a method that experts call vote counting, and they've been warning people about it for years. Why? Well, for one, it treats a tiny study with 10 people the exact same as a massive one with 10,000. It completely ignores how strong an effect is, and it's totally blind to publication bias. The fact that studies with positive results get published way more often. So that beautiful, simple visual, it's actually hiding some pretty serious flaws.
But wait, consensus is more than just that meter. It has a much more powerful deep search mode. And this is where things get really interesting, because this feature puts it in direct competition with some of the more advanced tools out there like Undermind AI. So let's see how they stack up.
And you gotta hand it to Consensus here. They really shine when it comes to transparency. They basically show you all their work. They lay out all the steps, kind of like those flow diagrams you see in big systematic reviews. It tells you how many searches it ran, how many papers it found, how it filtered them down, and exactly which top 50 papers it used for its final summary. If you're a researcher who needs to document everything, this is a huge plus.
And then you have Undermind.ai. So if Consensus is like a glass box where you can see the gears turning, Undermind is, well, it's a black box. You put your question in one side, and this really detailed report comes out the other. But what's happening in the middle? Honestly, it's a mystery. They're not telling.
But what's inside that black box is incredibly powerful. Before it even starts searching, Undermind actually asks you questions to help you make your query better. It chews through about 3 times as many papers as Consensus does. It can set up alerts for new research for you. And it has this absolute killer feature called Chat with Expert that lets you just talk to the papers it found to create your own custom tables, summaries, whatever you need.
So you see what's happening here, right? We've got two very different ways of solving the same problem. On one side, you have this really accessible design and transparency. And on the other, you have this incredibly powerful but totally opaque engine. Let's put them side by side.
This table just lays it all out perfectly. You can see Consensus is really built for undergrads or pretty much anyone who just needs a quick, narrative overview of a topic. Its star feature is that visual meter. and its reports are written in long-form prose meant to be read. Undermind, though, that's for the pros. Its real power is in that deep search and the custom chat. The reports are all bullet points. They're made for quick scanning and analysis, not for casual reading. It's definitely harder to learn, but the payoff is a much deeper level of control and insight.
Okay, so which one is better? Honestly, that's kind of the wrong question. The right question is, which one is the right tool for the specific job you need to get done right now?
So here's the bottom line. You use Consensus when you're an undergrad starting a term paper, or if you need to create a narrative-style literature review. It's easy, it's visual, and it gets you a solid overview fast. But if you're a PhD student or a serious researcher who's jumping into a totally new field and you need to do a really deep, comprehensive study, Undermind's power and its custom features are going to be tough to beat.
What we're really looking at here are two fundamentally different philosophies about how to design these AI tools. One philosophy is all about making complex information easy to access for everyone, using intuitive visuals. The other is about prioritizing raw power and advanced analysis, giving experts more control, but it's a little harder to use. This isn't just about features, it's about a core trade-off between simplicity and depth that we're going to see over and over again as these tools get better.
So, what should you take away from all this? First, AI search is changing the game from just finding things to actually understanding them. Second, always be a little skeptical of easy answers. A simple, pretty chart might be hiding some big problems. Third, transparency really matters. Knowing how your AI got its answer is a big deal. And finally, the best tool is simply the one that fits what you need to do.
And that leaves us with one last big thought. These tools are getting unbelievably good at finding and summarizing what we already know. So, as the AI takes care of the what's left for us humans to do? Well, maybe the most important human skill in the age of AI research will be asking truly great questions. Something to think about. Thanks for watching.